As mentioned yesterday in our talk, in our religion, not just to follow something blindly, not just to act upon that have been told to us by our fathers and forefathers and in our communities, but to actually understand truly why is it that we're doing the things that we're doing. What effect does it have? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention this specific thing? Now I wanted to add a point in brackets here, that of course we might not understand everything in the detail that we want to about why we do things. And I want to make this distinction very, very clear so that this fog doesn't appear in our minds that would take us astray theologically. It might not be easy, or it might never happen, that we understand why we have to pray, for example, 2 rakat, 2 units of prayers in the morning, and why we have to perform 4 units for zuhr, and so on and so forth. These are very, very detailed things. It might be that we have some kind of an idea from the hadith of the Ma'asumeen alayhi salam, but we don't actually know the essence. And also, the point is, it's not really important to know why that unit itself. However, the essence of prayer, we need to understand why is it necessary for us to pray in the first place. That's what I mean. That we need to understand why we do things. I need to understand why is it that I fast. Not that, okay, why don't I fast, for example, why is it Maghrib time and not Isha time? Why is it not a little bit more? Why is it not a little bit less? The time frame might not matter as much, but the topic itself, that why am I fasting in the first place? And this fasting is very interesting. If you look at different religions other than Islam, almost every single one that at least I saw, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, at least the ones that I looked at, and definitely I haven't looked at all of them, they had some sort of fasting within them. Christianity has it, and actually it happened that this time we intersected the times that they're fasting at the same time. And of course the Catholics have a little bit different to the Orthodox, and they have different to the Lutherans. The Lutherans don't really follow it as much. And the Baptists and so on and so forth. There are different sections within these schools of thought that they have. But they have it still. Judaism has it as well. Buddhism has it as well. So on and so forth. Loads of these religions have some sort of ahkam that we do. They all, for example, have some sort of prayer. Some sort of a unity. For example, we gather in the Jum'ah prayer, and the Christians gather in Sunday church, for example. You can see these similarities. And actually, to be honest, brothers and sisters, I think this is actually a sign to prove the point that Islam does. And what is the point that Islam tries to make? Is that all of these religions, except some of these, of course, new ones that came after Islam, have some sort of haqq in them. That yes, we don't say all of Christianity is wrong. However, it went astray so much that there was a need for a new Sharia and a new Prophet to come. That's the point. يُؤْمِنُونَ بِقَبْلِهِمْ. When it says you have to believe in what came before, of course which Muslim does not believe in Hazrat Isa alayhi salam? Who doesn't believe in Hazrat Musa alayhi salam? Who doesn't believe in Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam? We all believe in all of them. And of course, some of their words were still left by and were acted upon by the people. Yes, it can be changed. Some of it even has been altered. Not all of it in its pure sense stayed. Otherwise, if it did, then the person following it would become Muslim. Just like Salman became Muslim. At the time over there, still the essence of the religion was still left. And we can see this. For example, I know that it's open to interpretation, and if you go and ask, for example, some Christians, they might refute it. However, it's still there. The point that I'm trying to make. In Songs of Solomon, which is a chapter in the Old Testament, or the Hebrew Bible, Songs of Solomon, the last verse in chapter 5, if I'm not mistaken. It's talking about a person that will come. A person that will come in the end of days. And it talks about his characteristics. It talks about his hair is like this, and so on and so forth. If you look at the King James Bible, at the end of the Bible, the King James one, in that verse he says, altogether he is lovely. That's how they've translated it. However, if you look at the actual Hebrew version of it says Muhammadim, im is the same thing in Arabic where we have an alam, we have an alif and lam to show that it's a person. For example, you say al-araq, or you say, for example, this person. Yeah, it's to show that person. It's like some kind of a capital letter to show that it's a person or a place, or in the adabiyat of Arab they call them alam. It's alam. It's to show it. Now, this Muhammadim, the im, it's literally the same. If you translate that word itself to Arabic, it becomes Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allah. Now sometimes some of them say, actually it talks about, no, it cannot be right because it's speaking about two people that will come. Two people, not one person, not one Muhammad, two. And this is where it benefits us as Shias and Shias of Athna Aisha, that our Imam of our time, has the same name of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allah. So the haqq, some of the haqq is still left. And actually, our own Quran says the exact same thing in Surah Taqabun. Surah Saf, sorry. Surah Saf, not Surah Taqabun. Surah Saf. The second page, if I'm not mistaken, it's the 11th ayah, when it tells Ya Bani Israel that Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling Hazrat Isa alayhi salam that after you there will be a prophet and his name will be Ahmad. It says Ahmad, the word Ahmad in the surah. So it's not that it hasn't been told, but it has been changed a bit. So these ahkam are extremely important. It has an effect. This fasting has an effect. If it didn't, then why is it that it's been said in religions before? Everyone has some kind of fasting within their religion. Some kind of refraining from eating. And as I mentioned to the brothers and sisters yesterday, this refrain from eating is not like any other a'mal or deed that we do, because it is actually against the nature that we have in this moment of time. When you're thirsty and you look at this pure water and the need of it is within, and the need is a real need, not a fake need that you think that, okay, well I don't actually need this. It's a real need. However, you say, but just a few hours, whatever the time frame that it is from different countries, because Allah has told me to refrain from eating or refrain from drinking, I will refrain from it. I want to show the whole creation that me, a human being, the greatest creation that God has created, Allah has created, I can stop myself from eating because of the word of my God, of my Lord. He's told me not to drink, and I will not drink. I want to show all of creation that I don't need you, I only need my God, and that's it. That you truly believe, even if you tell me don't eat for a week, you will do something that nothing will happen to me. I can truly live a week without eating and, for example, drinking. I'm not saying to do this, of course. I'm saying if someone that has that ma'rifah, yeah, of course. So many of the miracles we've seen that have been mentioned in the Quran. Ashab al-Kahf, they sleep for how many years? Did they eat? Did they drink? All these miracles, if Allah wants, it will happen. إِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ شَيْءًا فَيَقُولُ كُن فَيَكُونُ. He says, and it will be. Of course, it will happen. We need to believe it. Belief is something else. And here I'm giving again another tip to the grand answer that we want to give about fasting, is that what fasting does, it affects your belief, your yaqeen. How much you're sure about something. How does it? We're going to answer it later. How does it do that? Fasting gives you hikmah, gives you knowledge. Not just the normal knowledge, let me learn about, quantum physics, and let me learn about electrons and protons and elementary particles and leptons and so on and so forth. No, a knowledge that is of use truly. And of course I'm not saying that has no use, of course it has use. But the use of the hereafter, as in a use that will be eternal. As we mentioned yesterday, everyone will die one day. Maut is haqq. We will die one day. The thing that is eternal is the hereafter life. So compared to that, anything else is useless. Now, are you trying to say, oh Sheikh, you're trying to say that these knowledges are useless? Of course I'm not trying to say that. Of course there is use in it. But when you compare it to eternity, when you compare it to an eternal life, yes, then it looks very useless. But in this world, is it useless? Of course not. Do we need to learn it? Of course. Do we need to try our best in everything that we do? Of course. But let's not forget the main goal. Let's not forget the true purpose of us being here. We're meant to use all of these other knowledges for that one purpose. But unfortunately, what do? We forget the main purpose that we're here. As one of the great scholars would say, that we have eternity waiting for us. He says we have eternity. Ayatollah Ghadi mentions we have eternity waiting for us. When you truly think about that and just wait and think, I have eternity. We can't even fathom it. It's difficult for us to even understand what does that actually even mean. Then we start thinking, okay, now I understand what this hadith from Imam Hassan alayhi salam actually means. Imam is telling me that this life is a field for you to race. You know when it says Hayya ala salah, you're racing towards it. In Ramadan, it's also you're racing against not other people. Oh, you're racing time. You're racing yourself. How much can I fit within this time frame? How much can I fit within this time frame? As much as Quran I can read, as much as purity I can muster. How much can I actually fit in? Now, a very important question. Is fasting really only not eating from sunrise to sunset? Or from for example, the morning prayer until Maghrib prayer? Is that what it is? Is it only not eating? We know, of course, the ahkam aspect of it, that no, there's other things that you shouldn't do, and if you do them, your fast will break. Of course we know. Eating, drinking, so on. For example, lying towards God or Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That breaks your fast. If you say something that they have not said themselves, breaks your fast. But is that it? Is it only these ahkam few things that you must not do, and if you do these, your fast is broken? Or is it something more than that? And as I mentioned yesterday, there's 3 sources we want to use for answering these so many questions and these in-depth questions that we have. 3 sources. One of them I mentioned was the 45th munajat of Saif al-Sajjadiyah. Another is the dua of Wida, and there's different duas of Wida with the month of Ramadan. There's a few other ones, of course. The 45th of Surah of Saif al-Sajjadi is one of them, but there is other short ones that have been mentioned from Imam Ali alayhi salam, from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, that we can use to our benefit. We read them at the beginning of Ramadan or at the middle of the Ramadan to remember the month that we are in right now. And there is a third that I mentioned. The hadith of Mi'raj of Rasulullah. A very important hadith. Now there, when Rasulullah, so there's 3 trips, there's 3 Mi'raj. There's a bit of difference between the Shia narration of it and the Sunni narration. Of course, there's 3 steps. The first Mi'raj that Rasulullah went to is a physical one. And that means from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa. So there is a physical teleportation, or whatever word you want to use, that was physical with his own body. So he leaves from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa. Now it's the second journey. What's the second journey? It's the journey of the heavens. So Rasulullah goes every single layer or level of heaven, and a story unfolds over there. And you can go and see the hadith and in detail on what happens in every single level. That the prophets before, like for example, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, they've gone to these different, and they've seen some things in these mi'raj and they've come back down. However, for Rasulullah it was different. He went all the levels. Who was accompanying him? Hazrat Jibreel. Now they reach where there is no more heaven left. It's the last step. We're about to enter the realm of God, of Allah. When they get to that tree, and in the hadith it explains to a tree, is the third journey that Rasulullah takes, and that is the main hadith al-Mi'raj. That's the main one, by the way. So here Hazrat Jibreel says, I cannot go any further. My wings will catch on fire. You can take it as a metaphor. For example, I do not have the capacity to pass here, only you can. And Rasulullah passes to the realm of Allah, a way that in which in that hadith it mentions there is no boundary between Rasulullah and God. There is no veil between them. And a conversation is happening there between Allah Azza wa Jal and Rasulullah. Not the same conversation that in the Quran it mentions about Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, where he's speaking through the tree. See, it's a difference. This is higher. This is a higher intensity. There is a something in between them. An object that they're speaking through. It's as if I'm speaking to you on a phone, or if I'm speaking to you in person. For Rasulullah, it's in person. In that hadith, Allah becomes the teacher and Rasulullah becomes the student. And there Allah mentions to Rasulullah, Ya Ahmad. Throughout the whole hadith, it has Ya Ahmad, wajabat muhabbati ala. So it says things that, oh Rasulullah, if someone does this, they will reach to the level that I wanted them to reach. My intention of creating mankind was this. And then Rasulullah brings this back to us as a souvenir. As a souvenir, he brings back this hadith. And I know we're getting a little bit very in-depth. This is deep stuff now. Deep waters where we're entering. Couple of parts of this hadith is about fasting. Rasulullah asks to Allah, Ma awwal al-ibadah. What is the first prayer or first ibadat, praying to you? Now first here in Arabic doesn't always mean first in terms of time, as in what is the first thing I need to do. Awwal here means awla, what is the highest prayer I can do? Ma awwal al-ibadah, what is the highest prayer I can do towards you? Ma awwal al-ibadah. And then Allah answers, alayka bis-samt was-sawm. Samt, it means silence and soul. Now I want to explain what this actually means. Because then Rasulullah again asks, Allah, what do you mean by this? What is this? Thank you. what is this actual fasting? What is this silence that you're speaking of? And he brings them together. This is the point that I want to make. Brings samt and Sawm together. And then again, when Allah is explaining what does Sawm mean, Sawm is fasting by the way in Arabic. What does Sawm actually mean? Allah brings the samt again. It means silence. Now what silence? Does it mean just staying quiet the whole day? Of course not. That's not what it means. What it means is to hold back your tongue. Don't say ma la ya'ni. He says don't say things that are ma la ya'ni, that have no meaning. Now, what does this mean? So the most important, that's the first thing before going into Sawm, to fast. The essence of this is controlling your tongue. Controlling it. That's what we mean by silence. Now, first level, of course, is not sinning with your tongue. That's a given. That's the bare minimum you need to do. That's the bare minimum you need to do. What do we mean by this? We mean, don't say something that will hurt others. Don't hurt another mu'min or mu'minah. Don't hurt them. Fasting is not only don't eat, but don't say things that will hurt others. Let's get even a bit more technical. Don't lie. Let's get even a bit more technical. Don't backbite. Holding your tongue. Now let's get a little bit harder. Let's get a bit harder. When you're in the most angriest state, you're angry or you're upset, and you're about to say something, hold back. This is what fasting is. Hold back. Wait for a second. Calm down first. Think about what you're doing. Have silence. This is when the silence is. If you're saying good things, you're going to a company, you're giving a talk, or you're giving different things about the Ahlul Bayt, about Allah, very good, keep talking, it's very good. But the silence comes in when right now someone said something to you and it's hurt your ego. Now can you wait and not say anything because Allah has told you? Because again, if you look at all the actions that we're told to us to do in Islam, it's always to take this ego away, this I, this man, this ana away. So when it's convenient for you, you fast? No. Whenever I am told I fast, I fast. Not whenever it's convenient for me. I want to do this, so I'll do it. But if I don't want to do it, I won't do it. That's not the case. In Islam, this me goes away. You're supposed to embody Allah, not embody yourself. You have no self. أَنْتُمُ فُقَرَاءَ إِلَى اللَّهِ. You're supposed to become the Khalifa of Allah on earth. What does that mean? Have His characteristics, not these fake characteristics that we've made for ourselves. This is the deepness of it. To be able to control myself. One of the most important instances, for example, with our mothers and fathers. They've said something to us, you have no right to answer back. You're still supposed to have respect. Even if they're in their wrong. They've said something and they're wrong, and you know for a fact. Unfortunately, some of us, we think that we're right at that moment in time. We think that, of course they're wrong. And then later on we find out actually our parents, they were actually correct. Why? Because they have experience, because they're older, they've lived longer. They've been where we've been. They've gone already this path. But I'm saying even if the fact is that they were wrong in that instance, and then they find out that they were wrong, hold back your tongue. Don't make it obvious later on that they were actually wrong about something. Pretend that they weren't. This is ma'rifah. This is having true knowledge. This is why you are fasting. You're preparing yourself. All these a'mal, is another answer to this grand answer we're trying to give. All these a'mal that we do is to prepare us for those moments in time. We're supposed to hold back this me, this I want to do something because Allah has told me to do this. I know something about someone, for example. They've said something in a crowd to make fun of me. Now I know something about this person. I can say this in front of everyone and destroy their image. and get back at him because he said this about me. I know they've done a misdeed, for example. And it's in your head, you think it's justified. And we might even bring an ayah of the Quran, al-aynu bil-ayn, wal-lisanu bil, so on and so forth, yeah? But you think, no, it's not, this is not the akhlaqi thing to do. I'll hold back. They said something bad about me, but I won't because Allah doesn't want me to do so. So I'll hold back. This is not saying something that is ma la ya'ni. A little bit more in depth. Now this is even further we're getting. Let's not say things that there's no use for it. Things that are not important at all. And different people, ma la ya'ni is different. For example, if I sit with the Iraqi brothers and I'm sitting down and we're talking about, for example, one of them made a little painting and I say to him, well, what a beautiful painting you made. Okay, this is ma la ya'ni. However, if a small little kid, 4 years old, comes and talks about his painting, it's not ma la ya'ni to say, oh, what a beautiful painting you made. See, it's different from person to person. Your spouse, to your mother, to your father, to your friend. It's different. We need to understand this. But if I'm speaking on the phone with my friend for hours and hours about things that really don't make a difference if we talk about it. Of course, calling and saying, how are you, how's everything, how's the kids, and this is different. We're talking about hours and wasting time. Instead, I should be, for example, doing my studies. I should be working. I should be spending time with my family. I should be taking care of my kids. I don't know if you've seen some parents, for example, they're hours on the phone and the kid is screaming, oh mom, dad, I want to do this, and they're like, I'm on the phone. Okay, well, what do you say? Is it important? If it's not important, cut the phone. Take care of the kids. They need you right now. This is ma la ya'ni. These are the details that unfortunately we miss while we're fasting. This is the reason I wanted to mention why do we fast in its essence. Fasting is not only about not eating. That's the bare minimum. If you don't do that, you need to give kafara. That's something else. But if you want to have a fasting, that this fasting at the end of when it's ending, the Shahr Ramadan is ending, it can do the dua of veda that you read from Amir al-Mu'mineen, where Amir al-Mu'mineen says, let this be the reason my sins are forgiven. My sins are wiped away. There Amir al-Mu'mineen says, oh Allah, don't let me see the new moon without you forgiving all of my sins. How will your sins be forgiven? If you're the same person? If you're going to do the same mistakes? The new moon means a new you. You need to change. This is the month of changing. That's why they call it the spring, the month of the spring in the Islamic calendar, if you want to say. Not spring as in the spring that is outside, but the spring within. It's a newborn. You're being born again in the month of Ramadan. So it's important to start off well in this month. Because this month is supposed to take you throughout the whole year to the next one. And none of us can guarantee, whatever age you are, that I will see the next Shahr Ramadan. And that's the second point. That Amir al-Mu'mineen actually starts off the dua of Vida by saying, do not let this be the last Ramadan that I see. And even if it is, then forgive all of my sins because it's the last one. It's my last opportunity. There is no other opportunity than this month. And that's why it's this month that we fast. The quality of this month is that in this month, the opportunities and the doors are being opened to a way of life that Allah Himself wants you to live. The opportunity is this month. It's as if you say, for example, why do we have to, for example, plant a tree in springtime or just before spring at the beginning? Why can't we do it in autumn time? Why can't we do it in the middle of the winter? And we say, well, the planet is in a way where it's freezing outside, it's snowing. What's the point of planting a tree? You're not going to get the tree. It has a right time. It has that moment to plant it, to give it what it needs. The moment is Ramadan. The moment is Laylatul Qadr, which we'll talk about inshallah in Laylatul Qadr nights. And the thing that you need to feed, the water, the correct soil that you need to give it is exactly the a'mal that the Ma'asumeen alayhi salam have told you to perform in this month. Quran is the book of building a human being. It builds you. It's a program. Don't build yourself with fake programs that other people have come up with different philosophical ideas and theologies that you don't know if they're right or wrong. Buy the real one. Buy the Windows 365, the real one. Install that one into your computer. The correct one is Islam and the book and the word of Allah Azza wa Jal. If you install this, then that will happen. You will have the correct program. Now you can take off. You've got the foundations ready. Everything is ready. Now it's takeoff time. You have another opportunity to take off from another level next Ramadan. The awliya of Allah, all of the year they wait for this month, brothers and sisters. They wait for this month. This is how important it is. And just how we say all these good things are 100 times or 1,000 times more, sinning is the exact same. It's the exact same. Sinning is 10,000 times more. It's the same thing. The equation is the same. So we have to be careful while we're fasting, not just about not eating, but controlling this tongue. The bare minimum is not to do the haram that we do with our tongues, not to hurt others, not to say things that will upset our brothers and sisters. With our spouse, to hold our tongue against our spouse, our children, our parents, our brothers and sisters, any person in the family. Extremely important. And the last point that I wanted to make, which is a bit different to the topic of fasting, and I'm mentioning this because of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, salamullah alayhi, Allahumma salli. Last point I wanted to make is about a question that arises in the Shia community about Imam Hassan a lot. And I want to just answer this question, and then inshallah we'll go to the next program that we have, or the next Mawludi that we have, inshallah. And that is that with Imam Hassan alayhi salam, everybody compares that. Why is it that Imam Hussein alayhi salam did qiyam and Imam Hassan did sulh? He made an agreement with Muawiyah. What is this difference? Why is it the two Imams act differently? First of all, all the Ma'asumeen and all the Imams, if you switch them around, they will do the exact same thing that the other one did. There's a beautiful book called The 250-Year-Old Man that please do read it. It's very, very good in terms of history, all the way from Rasulullah, all the way to Imam Zaman alayhi salam. Very important book. And what the point of the book is, and the new innovation in the book, is that look at all of the Ma'asumeen, the 14 Ma'asums, as one person. Look at them as one person. Don't look at them as individuals. But all of them are the Khalifa of Allah in its entirety. We haven't had these purified people ever before. And there will never come anyone like them. So let's view them as the one person. Then we need to understand the situation that Imam Hassan alayhi salam was there at the time. The time that he was in. First of all, Imam Hassan alayhi salam did not have the soldiers that Imam Hussein had. And the situation in Imam Hassan's time was not the same. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam himself did not go looking to wage war. War came to him. So we need to understand this as well. The qiyam wasn't the one that we think it was. Number one, Imam Hassan alayhi salam did want to wage war, but he did not have enough soldiers. The first time when someone attacked him, it was in the tent, and they came to take qanimat from him. What did they do? They took the sajjadah that he was praying on out under his legs while he was praying, and then cutting him with a poisonous dagger. Another narration is told that Imam Hassan alayhi salam says to one of his followers, if I had enough soldiers to the sheep that you see, I would raise up against Muawiyah. The Ravi, the narrator, says there that there were less sheep than the fingers on my hands. There were less. So Imam Hassan was very alone. Very alone. And in the time of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we needed a reform to happen. It was so bad in the time of Yazid that he had detoured Islam in a way that we needed Imam Hussein alayhi salam to do something that we come back to the rail that Rasulullah first started off. We were derailed. That's how bad of a situation it was at the time. All of Islam was derailed. If it wasn't for Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Islam would have been finished, gone. Imam Hussein brought it back to the rails that Rasulullah had installed before. In the time of Imam Hassan, number one, it wasn't as bad. Of course it was bad with Muawiyah being there, but it wasn't as bad. Number two, he didn't have anyone. So he made an agreement, and if Imam Hussein was in the same situation, he would do the exact same thing. He made an agreement. 5 agreements that Muawiyah broke, every single 5. They were supposed to act on the Sharia that Quran had left, that we had in the Quran. He didn't do that. He was supposed to not pick an heir that say after me would be this person. But he broke that, and so on and so forth. And the people needed to see the true colors of Muawiyah. That's another point. Because it wasn't the same. Muawiyah was a munafiq. He didn't show his real true colors. He would look like a mu'min in front of people and have a tasbih in his hand. But behind them, he was a kafir. With Yazid, everyone knew who he was. And he would do the things that all of you know that he would do in front of everyone. So it was even the other side were fed up with him. They said, what is this? He wasn't a munafiq. He showed his true colors. So it's different. However, we have to understand that the Imams, they wouldn't do anything different. All of them do the exact same thing if they were switched around. And this is within that book. And my last wish from the brothers and sisters is that in the ummah of the Shia community, we need to get used to reading, brothers and sisters. Whether it's even for 30 minutes a night, or in the morning, or whatever it is, we need to have this reading different books and educating ourselves about Islam and other things that are necessary. We need to look into what it is, not go through knowledge that is, for example, has no use of it, but knowledge that is of use. And we need to have this reading. Our community needs to be a community of educated people, the most educated people amongst all communities, because that is what the Ahlul Bayt teach us, to educate ourselves. And a good place to start is this book that I wanted to mention to the brothers and sisters. And if I can, inshallah, every night to mention a book, or every few nights mention a book, I will. Please do find it. I'm sure that it has an English version. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it does. And a few nights, inshallah, I will mention another book that I definitely know that there's an English version of that. And that the brothers and sisters can read these and use from it. It's not only just coming to a lecture, but learning from yourselves, being a researcher, each one of you being a researcher for yourselves. That's what a real change can happen. The knowledge is لِيَعْرِفُونَ, as we mentioned yesterday. If you become لِيَعْرِفُونَ, if you understand, then your ibadat is different to a person that does not understand. Inshallah, that all of us can become لِيَعْرِفُونَ لِيَعْبُدُونَ and become the closest to our Imam. And our Imam truly needs people that are educated in all aspects. Please recite salawat wa Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
صلوات علی محمد. مصلی پہ زہرا عبادت میں ہے، عبادت سجانے حسن آگے ہے. او مصلی پہ زہرا عبادت میں ہے، عبادت سجانے حسن آگے ہے. زمین پہ حسن کی یہ معراج ہے، قصہ میں سمانے حسن آگے ہے. زمین پہ حسن کی یہ معراج ہے، قصہ میں سجانے حسن آگے ہے. مصلی پہ زہرا عبادت میں ہے، عبادت سجانے حسن آگے ہے. شکل ساری صورت رحمان ہے، کہا آیتوں نے یہ قرآن ہے. شکل ساری صورت رحمان ہے، کہا آیتوں نے یہ قرآن ہے. محمد کو اب تر جو کہتے رہے، انہیں اب جلانے حسن آگے. محمد کو اب تر جو کہتے رہے، انہیں اب جلانے حسن آگے. مصلی پہ زہرا عبادت میں ہے، عبادت سجانے حسن آگے. کہ خوشبو حسن کی نبی سوجتا ہے، چہرے کو خود علی چومتا ہے. کہ خوشبو حسن کی نبی سوجتا ہے، چہرے کو خود علی چومتا ہے. محمد کا بچپن محمد کو پھر دوبارہ دکھانے حسن آگے. محمد کا بچپن محمد کو دوبارہ دکھانے حسن آگے. مصلی پہ زہرا عبادت میں ہے، عبادت سجانے حسن آگے. وہ عمران کیا ہے خبر کس کو ہو، وہ عمران کیا ہے خبر کس کو ہو، کہ بیٹے کا بیٹا حسن جس کا ہو، کہ بیٹے کا بیٹا حسن جس کا ہو. عمران کے لہو کا اثر ہے، کلمہ بچانے حسن آگے. مصلی پہ زہرا عبادت میں ہے، عبادت بچانے حسن آگے. صلوات علی محمد.
Allah Sheikh, we'll bring the brothers now. Inshallah.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. حسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، حسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي. الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي. الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي. الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي. تباشرت الأكوان مولدها النجم، تباشرت الأكوان مولدها النجم، الرسم محلاه يا محلى الاسم، الرسم محلاه يا محلى الاسم. والفلك والكون النور مبتسم، والفلك والكون النور مبتسم، وارث الكرار حبيب الأولي، وارث الكرار حبيب الأولي. الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي. برض المدينة بزغ بدر العبا، برض المدينة بزغ بدر العبا، ثاني الأئمة الإمام المجتبى، ثاني الأئمة الإمام المجتبى. يا ألف سهلا ويا 100 هلا، يا ألف سهلا ويا 100 هلا، في طيبة مولود يا طيبة هللي، في طيبة مولود يا طيبة هللي. الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي، محمد ولي الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي. الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي. عاشت الأسماء وعاشت كنيته، عاشت الأسماء وعاشت كنيته، يا أبو محمد يا أكرم أمته، يا أبو محمد يا أكرم أمته. الكرم والجود خدم في سفرته، الكرم والجود خدم في سفرته، سيد الأسباط زكي وشان علي، سيد الأسباط زكي وشان علي. الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي. يا سامع الصوت خبر سد الفضا، يا سامع الصوت خبر سد الفضا، القمر مولود يا ربي تحفظه، القمر مولود يا ربي تحفظه، القمر مولود يا ربي تحفظه. أمه الزهرة وأبوه المرتضى، أمه الزهرة وأبوه المرتضى، وجده الهادي لابن عم علي، وجده الهادي لابن عم علي. الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي، الحسن مولود ولي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي، أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي. عاشت الأسماء وعاشت كنيته، يا أبو محمد يا أكرم أمته، الكرم والجود خدم في سفرته، الكرم والجود خدم في سفرته سيدي الأسباط زكي وشان علي سيدي الأسباط زكي وشان علي الحسن مولود ولي أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي بيعة الرضوان حضرها والجمل بيعة الرضوان حضرها والجمل في حرب صفين عمل خير العمل في حرب صفين عمل خير العمل قائد مقدام ولا مثل بطل قائد مقدام ولا مثل بطل صاحب فضايل ورثها من علي صاحب فضايل ورثها من علي صاحب فضايل ورثها من علي الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي الحسن مولود ولي وابن الولي أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي بيعة الرضوان حضرها والجمل بيعة الرضوان حضرها والجمل في حرب صفين عمل خير العمل في حرب صفين عمل خير العمل قائد مقدام ولا مثل بطل قائد مقدام ولا مثل بطل صاحب فضايل ورثها من علي صاحب فضايل ورثها من علي الحسن مولود وابن الولي زهرة وعلي أول الأقمار من الزهرة وعلي يا أزكى مولود شرح صدري الزمن يا أزكى مولود شرح صدري الزمن بالعطر والعود وبالماسن وزن بالعطر والعود وبالماسن وزن نتعلم الجود من جفوف الحسن نتعلم الجود من جفوف الحسن باب الحوائج وغوث المبتلي باب الحوائج وغوث المبتلي يا سامع الصوت صل على النبي أول محمد وابن عم علي أول محمد وابن عم علي يا سامع الصوت صل على النبي أول محمد وابن عم علي أول محمد يقول أول ساعة بالمولد الحسن بيده يا الشركان أول ساعة بالمولد الحسن بيده يا الشركان حيدر يعرف المقصود ابشر قالها وفرحان والله حيدر يعرف المقصود ابشر قالها وفرحان قال لهم يقول ابني أنا أريد الضيف والديوان قال لهم يقول ابني أريد الضيف والديوان ها أخوتي ها أخوتي ها يفرح بالضيف وديوانه يفرح بالضيف ديوانه يفرح بالضيف يفرح بالضيف وديوانه يفرح بالضيف يفرح بالضيف يفرح بالضيف أول خطوة من ممشاه قام يلاعب بسيفه أول خطوة من ممشاه قام يلاعب بسيفه يشب النار من زغره كريم وينتظر يشب النار من زغره كريم وينتظر ضيفه كيف الناس جمع المال وهو بالكرم كيفه والله كيف الناس جمع المال وهو بالكرم كيفه ها أخوتي ها جوعان وشبع خطاره جوعان وشبع خطاره جوعان وشبع شبع خطاره جوعان وشبع جوعان خطاره جوعان وشبع وشبع الحسن من ينظر المحتاج يقول له قول لا تهتم كريم بعد الحسن من ينظر المحتاج يقول له قول لا تهتم إذا خجلان اكتب لي أنا اللي يقصدني ما يندم فرق بين اللي يقول انطيت وبين اللي يكرم ملثم والله فرق بين اللي يقول انطيت وبين اللي يكرم ملثم. ها يتلثم خاف يعرفونه، يتلثم خاف يعرفونه، يتلثم خاف هنا، يتلثم خاف، يتلثم خاف هاف يعرفونه، يتلثم خاف. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
بر خاتم انبیا محمد صلوات. اللهم صل علی محمد و آل محمد. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you for coming to this occasion of great birthday of Imam Hassan Mujtaba, the fourth of Al Abba. Thank you very much for speech, Sheikh Mohamad, and also Brother Malik and brothers in Arabic. Thank you. We are saying welcome to Imam Hassan Mujtaba alayhi salam by clapping and saying Ya Hassan Mujtaba, Ya Hassan Mujtaba, Hassan Mujtaba, Ya Hassan Mujtaba, Ya Hassan Mujtaba, Ya Hassan Mujtaba, Ya Hassan, Ya نیمه ماه خدا دل شده غرق صفا، نیمه ماه خدا دل شده غرق صفا، با حسن مجتبی شهر مدینه بود در طرب و در نوا، با حسن مجتبی شهر مدینه بود در طرب و در نوا، با حسن مجتبی یا حسن یا حسن مجتبی یا مجتبی یا حسن از قدم ناز او، از قدم ناز او دامن زهرا شده غرق شمیم بهش، غرق شمیم بهش، غرق شمیم بهش. شاد کند مرتضی، شاد کند مرتضی حمد سپاس خدا، حمد و سپاس خدا، با حسن مجتبی، با حسن مجتبی یا حسن یا حسن یا حسن یا حسن. بوس زنان بر لبش، بوس زنان بر لبش حضرت پیغمبر است، حضرت پیغمبر است. خنده و شادی کند، خنده و شادی کند. گشت نمایان برو چارم آل عبا، گشت نمایان برو چارم آل عبا، با حسن مجتبی، با حسن مجتبی یا حسن مجتبی یا حسن. عرش چراغان شده هلهله و شادی است، عرش چراغان شده هلهله و شادی است در شب میلاد او، عرش چراغان شده هلهله و شادی است در شب میلاد او. ذکر همه عرشیان تهنیت و مرحبا، با حسن مجتبی، ذکر همه عرشیان تهنیت و مرحبا با حسن مجتبی. یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی، یا مجتبی، یا حسن، یا حسن، یا او حسن اندر حسن ثانی پیغمبر و یوسف زهرا بود. او حسن اندر حسن ثانی پیغمبر و یوسف زهرا بود. خوانده شده بر همه، خوانده شده بر همه، بار دگر مصطفی با حسن مجتبی. خوانده شده بر همه، بار دگر مصطفی با حسن مجتبی. یا حسن، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی. بر همه آل علی شخص کریم آمده تا که کرامت کند. بر همه آل علی شخص کریم آمده تا که کرامت کند. اهل کرم شادمان آمده یک مقتدا با حسن مجتبی. اهل کرم شادمان آمده یک مقتدا با حسن مجتبی. یا حسن، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن. گفته پیامبر حسن سید و آقا بود بر همه اهل جنان. گفته پیامبر حسن سید و آقا بود بر همه اهل جنان. درد خودت را بده شیعه به مهرش شفا. درد خودت را بده شیعه به مهرش شفا با حسن مجتبی، با حسن مجتبی. یا حسن، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی. در حسن مجتبی در شب میلاد او کف بزن و شاد باش. در شب میلاد او کف بزن و شاد باش. در شب میلاد او کف بزن و شاد باش تا که دهد عیدیت، تا که دهد عیدیت مادر او فاطمه، مادر او فاطمه. تذکره کربلا، تذکره کربلا. یا حسن مجتبی، با حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی، حسن مجتبی، یا حسن مجتبی. در شب میلاد او کف بزن و شاد باش تا که دهد عیدیت مادر او فاطمه. تذکره کربلا با حسن مجتبی. در شب میلاد او کف بزن و شاد باش تا که دهد عیدیت مادر او فاطمه. تذکره کربلا با حسن مجتبی، با حسن مجتبی. یا حسن مجتبی، 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 یا حسن مجتبی. Thank you very much. Well done, brother and company. Yeah. Okay. Mohamad. Okay.
Sheikh, they look like that. It's actually more considered for Imam Ali. ذكر علي عبادة. So, I want you all to repeat. Okay? صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي حب علي فوز الشيعي غدا فامدد لي في يوم حسابي يدا وانقذني من نار جحيم وهل رمت شفيعا غير إمام الهدى إن صلاتي ثم صيامي إذا لم يشفع لي حيدر ضاعت سدى يشهد ربي أن بروحي له حبا دوما قلبي فيه شدا صهر الهادي أنت مرادي علي صهر الهادي أنت مرادي علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا قالوا الرابع قلنا الأول علي قالوا الرابع قلنا الأول علي نص عنه في القرآن نزل تمت فيه النعمة من ربنا تمت فيه النعمة من ربنا والدين بفضل الكرار اكتمل فاسأل عنه الليل وسوح الوغى فاسأل عنه الليل وسوح الوغى أفهل كان مثل علي بطل أفهل كان مثل علي بطل ولقيادي عند الجهاد علي ولقيادي عند الجهاد علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا سألوا قلبي أي نزيل به قال حبيب لا يشبهه أحد حفرت في الشريان حروف اسمه فهو قريب مهما عن ابتعد عين لام ياء ملأت دمي عين لام ياء ملأت دمي ليوزعها في أنحاء الجسد فإذا ما أعدائي جرحت جرحت يدي، فإذا ما أعدائي جرحت يدي، سال ولائي فوق دمائي مدد، سال ولائي فوق دمائي مدد. هو ينجيني يوم الدين علي، هو ينجيني يوم الدين علي، علي علي مولى، علي علي مولى، علي علي مولى علي، علي علي مولى، علي علي مولى، علي علي مولى علي، علي علي مولى، علي علي مولى، علي علي مولى علي. صلوات. أحسنتم أحسنتم.
Yes, brother. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. دعاء الافتتاح. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك، وأنت مسدد للصواب بمنك، وأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة، وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنقم.